After our ride on the Rocky Mountaineer excursion train up into the Rocky Mountains, we visited the beautiful tourist town of Banff, which is located inside the Canadian National Park of the same name, and we toured the local Rome transit system. We start today's episode, though, at the Rocky Mountaineer Operations and Maintenance Facility to show you what it takes to operate one of the world's great railroads. We finish the show back in Banff, taking you on an amazing gondola trip up the side of the mountain to the top of the Rockies. On this episode of Transit Unplugged TV, we're taking you to the top of the Rockies. Right now, we're in Kamloops, Canada, at the site of the Operations and Mechanical Facility of the Rocky Mountaineer excursion train, where we're going to take you behind the scenes of what it takes to operate a phenomenal train operation like this one of the finest in the world. So where are we at here, Ron?
So this is our Operations and Mechanical Facility. This facility serves two purposes. The first one is it actually acts as our station. So when guests arrive from Vancouver or depart to Banff and Jasper, this is the platform. This is where all the motor coaches come in and our guests entrain and detrain here. The second purpose of this facility is to act as the maintenance and storage facility. So we do all of the off-season maintenance here, any of the capital enhancements or improvements to the rail coaches, as well as the long-term storage for the 6 months that Rocky Mountaineer doesn't operate.
Rob, tell us about where we're at.
Right now we're sitting inside of the Rocky Mountaineer Operations Center. Inside of the Operations Center we have a variety of different desks that serve one purpose, and that's delivering for our guests. We have the Rail Operations Desk that manages all of the train traffic, verifying what trains are coming at us, what trains are going with us so that we can try and have an on-time arrival. We have the Guest Operations Desk, which manages the flow of the guests to and from the train, to the hotels and into the community. And then we have the Mechanical Department, which manages all of the defects and tries to keep the train operating in a safe fashion while en route and after it arrives throughout the evening.
And how do you get all these supplies on the train, Rob?
Good question. We have a variety of different methods, actually. The first one is that there's onboard support coordinators that will send in orders to restock the train to whatever levels are required for consumables, alcohol, hardware. And those orders are delivered to the logistics team and the supply chain team here in the warehouse. And while the train's en route, the orders are then picked in preparation to be delivered to the train. On the mechanical side, the mechanical maintenance team monitors parts availability, inventory levels, and then we'll reach out to sub-suppliers or contractors, vendors in the community to provide the warehouse with what we need so that we can then deliver that to the train.
Where are we at, Ron?
Right now we're inside of our mechanical shop. We have 3 tracks here that can comfortably house up to 6 rail cars at any given time. All of our off-season maintenance, undercar maintenance, and anything we require the overhead crane for, this is the facility to do it.
Next, we got a chance to go inside the cab of one of the Rocky Mountaineer locomotives to learn about the controls and try some too.
So on the latest Gold Leaf bi-level domes, there's a really cool feature embedded into the glass that I wanted to share with you. Laminated between the layers of glass, there's this film called suspended particle device. And what that does is, when voltage is applied to it, it actually changes the transparency of the film. We have control of that on the touch panel here. So if I slide that from 100% transparent to 0% transparent, the actual opacity of that layer changes in the glass. There's an undercar generator here, and if I wanted to, I could start that up so this car could be self-contained in its own power. You can start to see all the lighting scenes, and you can actually change the brightness or the, let's say if I wanted to go into the galley here, for example, and I wanted to turn the brightness up in the galley, I could do that by another 50%. One of the things that's really interesting about these cars is from a guest-facing perspective, they look gorgeous. But then you go and open up a simple panel, and you get some serious business.
Now we want to go to downtown Banff to take a tour of the Rome transit system. I happen to have the CEO of the transit system here, Martin Bean. I have one question, Martin. How do I get there?
Take the 8X bus. It goes from Lake Louise to Banff multiple times a day. It'll get you here in about 45 minutes. And then once you're here, we have multiple services going throughout Banff to Canmore, and you don't need a car when you're here.
After we left the Rocky Mountaineer facilities, we stayed in Lake Louise and took a bus ride to Banff. The the local transit CEO showed us which bus to take. It's a scenic ride into town, and there we met up again with Martin Bean, the CEO of the Bow Valley Regional Transit Services Commission, commonly known as Rome Transit. He showed us their facilities around town. Martin, right on Banff Avenue, the main drag through town, you've got your customer service center. Tell me about this.
Yeah, we moved in here about a year ago. We're in here with Parks Canada and Banff Lake Louise Tourism. Our customer service office used to be about a block away from here, and people would come here and ask questions about transit and have to be sent to another building. So we just made an agreement to move in here and help our customers directly when they come in.
On Banff Avenue, something really exciting happens here in the summer on this main drag.
Yeah, in 2020 with COVID, Council approved closing this to give more space for people. So it's closed to all traffic other than pedestrians. And in 2021, we added transit to that. So in the summer months, from the lights just behind us here, all the way to the end of the road as far as you can see, this is closed to only pedestrians and transit.
So Martin, I love all your buses. This is amazing, all this wildlife.
Yeah, we have, on all our buses, we have animals from the Bow Valley, so Banff National Park or the area around it. And our brand standard dictates which animals we can use, and they all have to be unique, or if we're reusing an animal, it has to be in a different season.
We're in the Banff Main Operations Center for Rome Transit, and right now I'm going to get inside this bus simulator, see if I can take one of their buses for a drive. Tell us about where we're at.
We're up the Rome Transit Operations and Training Facility. So we're out in the industrial area in Banff. This is where we do our training of drivers, store our buses, kind of do all the operational stuff. So we have a bus wash inside, parking for 12 buses inside, and then another 20 out here under the canopy. Just keeps the snow off them.
We're in your garage near your power control system. Tell us how all this works.
So these power control systems are the brains of charging the buses. They feed dispensers that we put up in the ceiling, and they lower from the ceiling by a remote control. With this building, we were building it to be fairly environmentally efficient with a small envelope. So there's not a lot of room to put pedestals between the different bays, so we decided to get the cables up and out of the way.
Okay.
So this unit will feed 2 dispensers. And so you can charge 2 buses at one time. They actually charge sequentially, so you can plug 2 in, one will charge up, and then it'll switch over to the other one automatically.
We're in Banff. We just took the number 1 bus up to the Gondola. Now we're going to ride up the mountain. Our trip across Western Canada has taken us on trains, planes, buses, and even gondolas. What a spectacular finish at the top of the Rockies, where the view and the air is literally breathtaking. On this episode of Transit Unplugged TV, we finished up our ride on the Rocky Mountaineer, took you on a how do I get there bus ride here to Banff after we showed you some of their maintenance facility, spent the day with Martin Bean, the CEO of Rome Transit, showed you all around the city of Banff, and now finally have taken you on one form of transportation we've never done before, a gondola ride to the top of the Rockies.